Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube. Um, this is my dog, by the way. This is Raw. RA, not raw like meat, raw meat. Just RA. Um, I am doing a new video. Today is, August 15th, right now, middle of the night. My name is Sunny. I've been doing videos for the past year and a half. If you've checked out any of my videos, and most of my videos, I talk about how to heal yourself from ulcerative colitis naturally. I've been, if you looked at some of my history, I've suffered from serious ulcerative colitis throughout the years. Started out about 15 years ago, and I tried to fix myself. The first time I improved considerably, but about 4 years ago, I started feeling not as good, but 2 years ago, I ended up in emergency for it. I had really bad inflammation everywhere, and and doctors tried to put me on all kinds of medication. I had bad reactions to everything. Uh, they started they wanted me to go on biologics, which are like very specific. It's almost like a cancer treatment. It's like for cancer, but it's like hours of needles in your arm. They inject stuff. It's a more direct attack, but there's considerable side effects, like all the other drugs they gave me. One of the things they gave me also made me go blind. So the risk factors are there. So I do not. I'm not very much of propounder of medicine. I've understood that throughout the years. The more and more I research, the more I study. That doctors are good for two kinds of things. One's um, for acute conditions, like say you break your leg, you get a bacterial flu, and you need antibiotics. Very particular things, and they come in handy for that. But in general, a lot of things they don't have no clue. They're making an educated guess, and a lot of treatment they do is band-aid fixes. Here's a pill. Let's deal with the let's deal with the symptoms, but the condition they don't fix, and they usually do not know what causes it. So throughout the years, I've had to worry about that. And if you think of just simple thing as Advil, you could clearly see that there's a list of side effects. The Advils are great. We need them. It is a lot of times given to us for treatments that if you just change certain habits in your life, you can fix. You can actually decrease. For example, my entire life since I was about 9, 10 years old or 11 years old, I started getting headaches. I've had them by a week, every 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, sometimes twice a week, sometimes once a week, sometimes every other week, sometimes once a month. But it was always very regular. I had it till about a year ago. And what changed in a year ago was I changed my whole eating habit and did not realize that something I was eating was causing a reaction to cause headaches in me. And usually it wasn't a big deal. I took an Advil, it went away, but sometimes I need two Advils, or maybe I'd have to take another one like 6 hours later to get rid of it. And sometimes, on a rare occasion, it would last 3, 4 days. I end up in emergency. They're giving me morphine, and then gone, fixed. So I'm not bad mouthing these things, doctors, though I will in another video I'll do. But in general, I've learned that most health issues in life are due to our lifestyle. Because if you look at your history, if I look back, say 200 years ago, 300 years ago, 100 years ago. If you look at the cases of heart attacks, cancer, things that are considerable, in my case, ulcerative colitis, which is what this YouTube is all about, and Crohn's to a small degree, uh, these were almost non existent. And people didn't suffer as much of these things. It was kind of a rarity. Someone got a heart attack, it was very rare. If someone got cancer, it was rare. I don't mean rare as never, just very low percentage. Today, if you look at, if you think about the people around you that you know, family and friends, you know somebody's got one of something. And cancer rates are high. Also, colitis and Crohn's have become a major issue. They say that as of today, there's about 30% of the population that has it to a degree. So some have it as bad as me, some have it less. Some people don't know and just had really bad diarrhea and stomach issues. They have no clue as to what caused it, but they have issues. And once it gets bad enough, it takes a couple of years for it to get there. Then they realize, the doctors find out it's ulcerative colitis. And a lot of it has to do with the doctors do not go through the trouble of trying to fix it or find it, because their answer to everything is, oh, take some, eat more vegetables and fruits. You're eating too much red meat. Or you eat more lean. Or here's a whatever over the counter for diarrhea. Oh, if that doesn't work, I got a stronger one for you. So you'd have to be considerably bad before they bother to check to see if you have ulcerative colitis, why are you getting ulcerative colitis? Why is 30% of the population suddenly getting ulcerative colitis? Did the human genome just go nutso and everybody's having problems? No, it has to do with a lifestyle thing. So these are things I'll talk about in the future, but this video, a lot has to do with my test results. So I got my test results today because it's the 15th of August 2025. I did one about a month and a week ago. You have a video of that if you want to check it out. When I tested myself, my calprotectin, just so for those who want to know, if you ever get ulcerative colitis, they do a calprotectin test, which is a stool test. They'll give you a little thing, you take your poop, put it in there, they give it to the lab, they test it, takes about 3 days, results come back and say how much inflammation's in your colon. And that's a good way of trying to find out what's going on in there. More aggressive would be that you have a colonoscopy and they stick a camera in there and they look for more specific things. But the easiest way is that. So my calprotectin numbers have been high since my emergency visit. And that's when I really paid attention to it. Before that, I didn't pay attention to it much because it wasn't severe. And doctors didn't bother with me very much. They were like, oh, you have this, you have that. Oh, you have also colitis. It's an unknown disease. It's your immune system attacking you, and that's about it. They don't know why, they don't know anything, but here's some drugs. That was their answer. And the drugs don't cure it, they don't fix it. They may improve it, they may control it. So what they do is that it puts it into remission. You get a little bit of a time where things are calm, as long as you keep taking the pills or the biologics, keep taking it. And then at some point this doesn't work, and then you'll have to go to another pill. And hopefully between there and there, you don't get all the list of 50,000 side effects that come with all these drugs and biologics and all that. So a crappy way of treating people where those things damage your immune system, damage your your body's ability to fight diseases like cancer, just a regular flu. Things normally that your body would have to deal with, it can't anymore. So when I had my attack 2 years ago, I had to try to figure out how to fix myself. And I said, I'm not doing the doctor's way anymore. That's not the answer. I fixed myself the first time by improving myself. I can do it again. And I did. And I improved myself. I'm much better now. Not perfect, but my numbers look good. I had a colonoscopy about 6 months ago. Doctor says, "Oh, you still have inflammation," but my inflammation used to be all the way up to even my throat. They said they had inflammation. Now it's just in the colon in certain areas, and it's not as severe as it was 2 years ago. So even that's improved in visual, but it's not fixed. Um, what I have learned is how to control it naturally, and it has to do with food. And the video we'll talk about this time this video will be about from the last test to today. Because I feel like a lot of my videos, I go through all the things I've tried, have worked, didn't work, what may have caused it, what may not have helped. And these are things that you can try to improve yourself. And I've also talked about how from the easiest way to do it, which is sometimes the hardest, by going all carnivore, or more, start deleting things, see what might be the cause. And maybe it's just, if you're lucky, it's that one thing you remove and that solves the problem. But maybe it damaged severe enough where there's multiple things bothering you now, because once it gets sensitive, remember, once you're injured in there, it's not about one thing, it's about multiple things that can bother it. So let's talk about from last time to this time. So the last time I tested, it was over 3,000 by calprotectin. Normally you'd want to be 50 or under. 100 or under is not bad either. Not the worst, but 50 or under is where you want to be, or I think it's about 50. And my liver numbers were pretty severe. Liver's supposed to be almost 0 or 1 or 2 at most. I was at 120, which means at those numbers, your liver is so far gone from fatty liver and cirrhosis, start of cirrhosis, that it's pretty damaged. So just by changing how I ate, I was able to reverse these, because as I talk about in my videos, I'm a nutritionist, and though I spent a lot of time studying nutrition and learning the wrong things, because what they teach you is not, I don't find this correct in a lot of ways. I had to do a lot of research after that on my own, learn about the condition, and I've read probably 1,000 research papers of different kinds of situations and tests. I found that a lot of research is manipulated. It's under some company that does it, or it's not a quality research. So I had to kind of go through finding the ones that are valuable versus the ones that are not. So through that, my own knowledge, and I used a lot of YouTube, because there's a lot of doctors who are out there, like Dr. Ken Berry, and many others, which I should have written down. Every time I see them, I write their names down. But they're doctors who talk about different types of diets that help. And I've tried learning from not just the research you read in books and research papers, but by people's experience. So these doctors, who are real medical doctors, have patients who have had by the thousands who fix themselves using a particular diet. And I've used that to fix myself. And in my videos, I talked about the answer to most of this is either the carnivore or the keto diet. So without going into details of which one and which way and how to do it, that I've talked about probably too much, so I won't go into that one. But I will break this down a little bit in the future videos so that you guys can find out what the options are. But for now, my new numbers came from my calprotectin test, which I did 4 days ago or 3 days ago. And as I mentioned, a month and a week ago, I had the test done, and my numbers were over 3,000. Now, over 3,000, I don't know exactly where, because the problem with calprotectin test is different places can only measure at certain ranges. So the lab I live in California, so when I go to the lab in Southern California, they only measure up to 800. So anything above 800 just tells you greater than 800. In Northern California, where I live, when they do the test, when the number says up to 3,000, So if you get 3,000, anything higher just is greater than 3,000. So it could be 4,000, 5,000, and you just wouldn't know. You just know it's over 3,000. So I usually do my test here so I can be consistent with the same lab. The test is done in Kaiser, but they have a lab they send it to and they have it tested. And also, I need to see where I'm at. If, let's just say I'm 801 and the test in Southern California says greater than 800, that doesn't tell me where. If it's 801 or is it 8,000, you know, or 1,800 or 2,800, wherever. With the 3,000 marker, that gives me a little bit of more room to find out where I stand, where I'm at. So the last time, as I mentioned, I tested was 3,000, greater than 3,000. I was a little perturbed about it because I worked so hard. I had brought it down to 39, which was very low. And I was kind of mad. I said, eating is like part of my life majorly because I love food. I'm a foodie. I've always been in decent shape, though. Last 7, 10 years, I've kind of let things go, and I had gained some weight, but I wasn't obese. I was definitely very chubby. Um, uh, but what bothered me is I know people much fatter than me, where I was probably 40 pounds overweight all over. There are people who are 100 pounds overweight and they don't have my condition. I know people 200 pounds overweight, they don't have my condition. So that kind of, you get irritated by things because you think, yeah. So you get irritated by things because you think, oh, why does it happen to me? I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, never have. So you think, I try to live a pretty decent life. My only flaw is food, but that's not what you'd consider bad. But as you research more about food, you find that there's a lot of problems with food. What it has in it, the chemicals in it, all that stuff. And the more important thing is what to eat and what not to eat, and what's important, because we're taught the wrong things. So for the beginning, I will say that the food pyramid is completely wrong. So that I'll talk about more on another video, but that's something I'll discuss, and you should know that the pyramid is completely wrong. And the answer to that is, if I were to look at the pyramid, I'd say flip it. If you flip everything, that's the better way of eating. So what you're supposed to eat the most should be the least, and what you're supposed to eat the least, you should eat the most. So those are things that I think are important. So when I did my test, I was over 3,000. Numbers were pretty high. I was a little upset, as I said, and I was trying to figure out what I had eaten that was changed from the time before, which was a month and a half, 2 months prior. And as I looked into it, I had added some new things to my diet. And I made a mistake of having pepper twice. I mentioned once or twice or 3 times at my family's gathering. I was eating some food had pepper, but I was just eating because that was the only food there was. And the pepper wasn't a lot. I was eating paprika every day, every other day on my diet. I'd added that as a new thing. And then I'd gone to Buffalo Wild Wings. It's just a wings place. But I got this, not the super spicy, but a spicy one. And it was not really my option. It was just what was available. I got it. And I think, and I also had some mustard. I was starting to add mustard because I was trying to find condiments that I could eat that's organic to get some flavor with certain things. Sometimes you eat a chicken or rice or chicken or beef or something. You can barely swallow it because just no flavor. And I'm a foodie, so flavor is big. So I did. I would start eating mustard. Organic, everything was no chemicals, no whatever. But so those 3 things that were new that I added to my diet. So what I did was, from then on to now, I took everything off. So I took the paprika out. I took out the I didn't have anything spicy, and I removed the mustard just to be on the safe side. And I said, let me see if I can bring it down faster, because I went from say 39, I think it was, to over 3,000. within a month and a half. So this wasn't like a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year severe condition. I had suddenly brought it down to 39 within the last couple of months, because before that it was uh, 600. Before that it was 700. And I yo-yoed a little bit there because I was learning what to eat and what bothers me and what doesn't. So I took all those things out. My new numbers came out today, and my numbers are 208. So very, very, very good news. So I believe I figured out what was the problem, because what I did was I tried to eat what I ate when I had number 39 as my calprotectin numbers. So I would eat meat, fruit, and 90% meat, 9% fruit, very rarely a little bit of vegetable here and there, like carrots or cilantro that's cooked. It has to be cooked and soft and processed so that the fiber doesn't bother you. It also makes it more bioavailable. What else would I have? Like I would have, on a rare occasion, I would make cabbage soup. I would have it, or I would even have cauliflower, but it's cooked really well. It was very soft, easy to digest, but not a lot. It was just on a rare occasion. I'd have it here and there with something, but mostly meat, all kinds of meat. Fish as well. Fish is in that same family. Eggs, of course. Ate eggs every day. Tons of ghee, butter, beef fat, pork, bacon, different kinds of meats, pretty much. Fruits I would eat as a flavor thing, but I wouldn't eat a ton of it. So it wasn't like I was eating 7 to 8 fruits a day. It was literally after a meal, I would eat like a fruit. About 15-20 minutes later, I'd eat like a cup of berries of some type, or one banana, or an orange or something. So that is how I was able to get some fruit. And again, only one or two a day, that nothing too severe. And so I went back to that diet, and I stuck to that. Now I also had a little bit of rice on and off, white rice, not brown rice or raw or anything, because those guys are those rices are, I think there's a black rice. There's multiple types of rices. The problem with them is they have a lot of fiber, and the fiber is what will irritate your stomach if you have ulcerative colitis. Even though it's healthier and better for you than just white rice that's got no nutrients in it, it only is good for you if you don't have ulcerative colitis or Crohn's. But if you do, it's very irritating to an injured area. Example I always talk about is if you have a scab and you put vinegar on it, right? Or something acidic like lemon. So certain things would irritate it because it's not great. It's like me taking my hand on a scabby area and just rub it with my fingers and say, oh, okay, there you go. And what happens? It hurts and it bleeds and it irritates it, and the new scab comes, right? So if your stomach's got all these bruises from those things, the last thing you want to do is eat things that are hard for the stomach to break through and digest and get out of your system. And fiber is one thing that your body can't absorb and doesn't break down very well, and goes into your colon. Some of this gets used up by your bacteria, but most of it is just kind of coming out as a way to get rid of your poop, and it doesn't really do any good for you if you have that condition. So those are my big diets, and those are the things that I added that caused the problem. And I suspected that. I didn't know for sure, but again, I should do a research paper on this, because I'm the guinea pig in this, and I know a guinea pig of one doesn't make a great research paper, but it's something to look into, because it's an important way of having other people do these researches, and they can test themselves and find out what works and what doesn't. So one of the other things I had was from the peppers I had when I was at my sister's like 2 weeks ago. I had some, I think she gave me some chicken with a little bit of noodle, and I just did a couple of bites of it. I didn't want to eat too much of the noodle because it was a wheat noodle, but they had chicken in it. But the food tasted a little spicy. She said she didn't put anything spicy, but knowing my sister, I don't know, because she said I only put black pepper. I don't think black pepper would do it because I do black pepper on the regular here and there. I'll put it on an egg or something. I never have problems with it. But that day I did it, and the next day I literally had hemorrhoids. It was like a really bad one where it was really uncomfortable to sit and stand and walk. And I was like, what in the world caused this? But I suspect that's what it was. But I was able to fix that. I got that under control. And I'll make the video on how I fixed that on its own separately. And I'll talk about it. So from what I can tell you is that by just going on my old diet of just meat, fruit, a little bit of white rice, on a rare occasion bread, I was able to bring my calprotectin numbers way down to help with my ulcerative colitis. Again, naturally, without anything. Didn't take any medication, I didn't eat anything like that. Now, there are things I would not recommend. Like, for example, the bread is not something you want to take because if you're sensitive to the wheat, the protein, or the gluten, then it'll be very irritating to your stomach because if you're sensitive to it. Some of us aren't. I don't think I am because I've eaten it all my life, never had problems with it. On and off, I would have a little bread here and there, even when my numbers were going down, and didn't have any problem with it. I don't eat a lot of bread anyways anymore, but I eat here and there. I'll eat a piece of bread, but the breads I eat is all homemade. There's not store-bought, no chemicals, no nothing. I usually buy organic flour. Mom's the chef here. She makes bread, so I'll get a slice of it. I usually get a big one because I don't barely eat it, and it doesn't seem to bother me. But I eat bread maybe sometimes once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks. It's not like I'm eating it every day or something, which we do in the general population, which is not a good idea. So that's that. So the good news is that I was able to get my numbers down as of the 1 month and 1 week later. So it was a big improvement. So this is something I want everybody to look into for themselves. Pay attention every time you're eating things and adding new things to your diet. Keep track of it. I put it in my mind. A lot of people always tell me they write it down. I'm not sure if that's not my way of doing things because it's a list that's built. It's called your brain, and your brain has the capacity to do it. But some people just don't do well with remembering things. So I guess if you can't, then write it down so you can have it. But naturally, these are the things that I would be cautious of if you have ulcerative colitis. One is red pepper. The second one is paprika, which I was eating a lot of every day almost. And the third one was eating mustard like twice a week, like a honey mustard. And I would eat a little bit to dip my chicken in or something to get some flavor. But those three things I had to remove. Now, I don't know if one of those or all three of them were the problem, but for me, it's not worth. These aren't things like if I was cheesecake, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna test cheesecake. I love cheesecake, but I know I don't do well with milk, so that's not even something I have to do. But if that was one of the options, I'd be like, okay, my numbers are down. I'm gonna try cheesecake and test again to see if that's part of it. And if it wasn't, I'd be like, ooh, I'm gonna be eating it all the time. But these three things are not a priority for me. I don't have to have it, so I don't particularly care. At some point, I might try mustard again, see if I'm okay with mustard. Because mustard does have certain beneficial chemicals in it that help. Organic mustard, not the crap that they put in the store sometimes. But there's chemicals in it that can help with inflammation. But on the side, mustards can be, because it's got vinegar in it, it could irritate the colon. For Crohn's, maybe more so. So that's something to consider. But that's it for today. Good news is I got the numbers down. Keep this as part of your program of ideas of how to make yourself better. Because at the end of the day, I'm here to help people get better. My whole idea of this is to improve people's lives and make them so they get healthy again, and specifically or especially doing it naturally. By eating the way I do now, which is a predominantly carnivore diet with some keto added in there, I've reversed all kinds of health issues, joint pains, headaches. What else did I have? Joint pains, headaches, mouse of colitis. My liver had fatty liver and early cirrhosis. So the benefit of the way we eat and how we eat is very important. And always remember, I'm a foodie, so I love McDonald's fries, I love the junk food, I love the cheesecake, I love all that stuff. I understand it's delicious, but you have to remember that 98% of what we eat outside is chemicals, and most of them are organic, and they're definitely not non-GMO. Because if you look into our food sources, it's been tampered with, and it's not what you would be eating 100 years ago. Because the problem with that is if you modify something, you're modifying the chemical structure, and you do not know how your body's going to react to the chemical structure of the new item. Your body knows what beef looks like, it knows what oil looks like, it knows what fruit looks like, it knows what vegetable looks like. But if it's been modified, it may not have the exact same structure. So eating organic is important. Non-GMO is important. Grass-fed, grass-finished is important. Now, we can't always afford it. We can't always get it. We can't always eat it. But we do our best to try to do that, because you may spend extra 100 or 2 on your groceries, but your health will be so much better. You'll save at the end because of all the doctor appointments, all the problems, being unhealthy, not being able to walk and exercise. I mean, in so many ways it will pay itself off that you'll actually be ahead financially in time. And my grocery bills have not increased severely because since I've removed a lot of other stuff, all that money can go towards meat and fruit. So now I've actually made it easier in my pocketbook as well. Not cheaper, still more, but not as much. So that's all I've got for you today. If you have any questions, want to discuss anything, I'm an open book. Love to talk to you about it, to help you. My name is Sunny. My email is lazaruslost@gmail.com. L as in Larry, A as in Apple, Z as in Zebra, A as in Apple, R as in Robert, U as in under, S as in Sam, and then the word lost, LOST, all together @gmail.com. Feel free to message me, tell me your name, what problem you have health-wise when it comes to colitis or Crohn's, what you've tried, what you haven't, or if you just need to talk about it. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm an easy person to talk to. My goal is, I'm not selling anything. I'm not trying to get YouTube likes or whatever those things are. I'm here strictly to help people. So feel free to reach out if you need help. And thank you so much and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.